Howdy, partner. Welcome to Booted Dudes, a podcast about Doomtown Reloaded. In today's episode, the Booted Dudes talk about who they are, what kind of games they play, and what is gonna be covered in future episodes of this podcast. We'll meet you at high noon in Gomorrah.
Welcome to episode 0 of Booted Dudes. My name is Michael.
And my name is Hans.
Okay, let's get started. So Hans, today we want to talk about ourselves a little bit, so all the people in the world can find out who we are and what we are doing and what we want to talk about in this podcast. So let's start with, where are we exactly?
Yeah, we currently are in Lübeck, in the north of Germany. And we are sitting basically in my living room.
Yes, it's very professional. So we decided to talk in English, although it's not our native tongue. So sorry to everybody for everything that we get wrong. But still we thought there's so few players, at least in Germany, and we were trying to reach a bit of a larger audience. What about us? How long have we been gaming? I think I started playing board games like when I was 10 or something, playing Settlers of Catan with my family. I got really invested when I was 14, and my sister actually got me a D&D starter kit. She had no idea what it was because she was reviewing board games on a radio, although she was not playing board games at all. It was just totally random. And she got this D&D box. She didn't know what to do with it, so she gave it to me for Christmas. And I think that's when I started gaming. And I got in contact with LCGs about 1.5 years ago when I discovered Netrunner. I love cyberpunk and all the novels and stories from Gibson and other writers, so I started playing Netrunner.
Okay, I started, I guess, a little bit earlier due to the fact that I'm a little older. So my first experience with board games and role-playing games was I started with a German role-playing game back in 5th grade and stuff like Hero Quest and Star Quest. I've been into LCGs, I think about 7 years or something like this. Mainly, I got into it with the Game of Thrones, the card game, which I really enjoy. And nowadays, I'm playing Doomtown, not so much the Game of Thrones anymore. Maybe due to the fact that it's rebooting right now. Apart from that, I'm a tabletop gamer, so I enjoy playing War Master and Epic Armageddon and stuff, also a little bit from the past, so not actual tabletop games which you can buy right now.
I think I saw in a game store in Hamburg recently somebody buy the last card pack for Game of Thrones that was ever gonna be released. I think he told me that, or maybe he was just I don't know, making a joke.
No, maybe I think there are two, at least in Germany, two unreleased chapter packs. But it's about to end. Although the game is in a really good state today. Yeah, this is basically about Doomtown, but maybe we can bring in some of our experience from the other games we used to play and compare it, or acquire some new Doomtown players.
We're gonna do that because everybody who loves Netrunner or loves Game of Thrones will probably also love Doomtown.
Yeah.
So in the shows to come, we will always try and move some basic concepts from other LCGs and translate them to Doomtown, so people can get accustomed to Doomtown. Anyway, can you remember your first tournament playing Game of Thrones?
Yeah, actually I wasn't so much in the tournament scene, but it was at Stahleck, and the LCG was just released, and I was there. And in Germany, the English packs were always quite late, so we went to the tournament and we didn't have all the packs, and we just got smashed because there were some cards missing, and actually we weren't playing the game like not at the state of the art like the Spanish or Italian players. And so we basically my first game was kind of European Championship for Game of Thrones, which was
well, it's an ambitious start.
yeah, it was, but it was fun. It was real fun. So yeah.
So we should say that Burg Stahleck in Germany is a very central place for card games, like for living card games, because I think also the German national Netrunner tournaments are always in Burg Stahleck.
Yeah. The German. No.
Aren't they?
No, I don't think so. The European, and there's a European at least for Game of Thrones, it's like the pinnacle of the European circuit, which after like there are some really big tournaments in major European cities, and this is like the end of the circuit and the European Championship for Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I'm not aware if this the same for Netrunner.
But in Burg Stahleck there is the Cthulhu Con every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest role-playing convention for Cthulhu, and it's always really good, although I've never been there.
Okay.
But I've been told. Oh yeah, and I should say on this note that I'm not playing tabletop games. I do play, apart from board games, role-playing games. Okay. So I do Cthulhu, and recently Shadowrun as well. But there's so many role-playing games out there. We've been playing competitively a little bit. I can remember my first tournament. I was so nervous. My hands were like shaking all the time. And in Netrunner, it's like, the runner makes a run and he accesses your HQ, so you have to hold your hand in front of him so he can pick a card to choose. And I was like shaking so bad that people were feeling pity for me. It was horrible. Also, I had like the worst decks you could bring. But still. So we do play some tournaments. We're not the most competitive people, maybe. I don't know.
At least for me, not, I think.
No,
I'm playing more at the fun side of the games, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we should go to the Netherlands because there was some Doomtown tournament announced.
Yeah, I've been told.
Yeah, so maybe this will be our first Doomtown tournament.
Hopefully.
I don't know.
Hopefully. So, as of now, how many people constitute our Doomtown meta?
Yeah, this is a tricky question. It's about 2 people. That would be us and
that's correct.
A friend of mine who used to play the old Doomtown, and he has also acquired the new cards. And maybe there are some other people waiting in line to get into the meta, but maybe not. We are not quite sure actually.
Yeah, hopefully. So one of my Netrunner friends is going to try and buy into Doomtown, but it's really hard to get in Germany.
Yeah?
Because, yeah, I think so. So, I don't know, for all you people from other countries than Germany, we don't actually have a German translation for the Doomtown cards. And it doesn't seem like there's going to be one.
No.
And AEG has been notorious for not shipping huge amounts of stuff to Europe and other countries. So it's always selling out really fast over here.
Okay, that would be. Although I recently viewed some of the saddlebags actually, so you can buy them on eBay, I think, or in the UK if you like. But are there any translations of Doomtown? I'm not quite sure.
I don't think so. I don't think there are any yet.
Okay.
But there was negotiations between AEG and Heidelberger Spieleverlag, which is one of our biggest German board game companies, and they said something like it's not going to happen in the foreseeable future.
Okay.
So,
although AEG is distributed by Pegasus Press.
Oh, actually, it was on the Pegasus forums that they said there was no agreement made.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So what are we going to talk about? There will be, of course, like our experiences with Doomtown, like sample decks.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, comparing it to our other LCG experiences.
So, as we have established, we are not state-of-the-art competitive players who know what is going on in the grand scheme of Doomtown. Mm-hmm. So, we are going to cover stuff that we are experiencing, like what we come up with. Also, being a role-playing gamer, I'm gonna read into Deadlands a little bit. Actually, I got the Deadlands Reloaded core rulebooks and some of the old Deadlands stuff. Currently, I'm trying to get a feel for all the fluff. So there's gonna be some segments about what actually is happening in Doomtown, like what is Ghost Rock, how do hucksters do their magic, and that kind of stuff.
You can always start with a little short stories at the Alderac Entertainment website.
Yes, of course. I'm gonna be
which I think are really cool. So the fluff with Doomtown is really cool, and it's moving forward.
There's so much going on, and there's like so many recurring characters.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I think in contrast to Netrunner, I think there's like a real story behind it.
Yeah, there is a meta plot. Netrunner does not have any meta plot. Although I recently listened to an episode of, I think it's Terminal 7. They got the lead art designer of Netrunner, and she's also like the lore keeper. And I was really surprised how much thought goes into everything, because in Netrunner it's all very much below the surface. So you get all these fluff texts, and there is some characters who you sometimes see, and you wonder like, who is this guru guy, and what are they talking about there? And I always thought that the designers themselves were kind of shaky about that, and they didn't really know what they were talking about. But it turns out they know everything.
Oh, okay.
It's just there is no big story that they're trying to propagate. But actually, I think there is some very involved people in Netrunner as well.
Yeah.
It's just you don't get to see it really.
Yeah, maybe you can imagine for yourself a little bit.
Oh yes, of course.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and I think that about covers what we are going to talk about. Our first real episode is going to cover some basic thoughts about card draw and card advantage in Doomtown, because it's kind of freaky in Doomtown. It's kind of different than other LCGs, at least the ones we know. I'm going to be talking about hucksters and their fluff in the Deadlands universe.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Sure hope so. So, see you next time.
Yeah, so goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Please send in your feedback to booteddudes@gmail.com. We will read out your questions or comments on future episodes. Music used with kind permission from Well Bad. You can find his music on Spotify, www.wellbad.de, or facebook.com/wellbadmusic. He has just recently released his second album, Judgment Days, which is well worth a listen and also makes for some excellent Doomtown background music. If you like our podcast, please subscribe to it on iTunes and or write a review. It helps immensely when people try to find it online. We are now entering the sundown phase. We'll meet again tomorrow at high noon.